English learners. I'm Erin.
And I'm Evan. How's it going, Aaron?
Pretty good. How was your weekend?
Oh, it was great. I went to this cafe in town. The one with those beautifully crafted pastries and the cozy atmosphere. It was just so, what's the word? Ugh, I forgot.
Oh no. Come on, you've got this. What kind of word are we talking about here?
It's a fancy word. It means something really beautiful and special, like the whole vibe of the place was delicate, refined, and kind of perfect.
Could it be elegant?
Close, but it's more elevated, like something rare and almost too good to be true.
What about luxurious?
Not quite. It's softer, more poetic. A word you'd use to describe an experience that feels like a masterpiece.
Wait. Exquisite.
Yes, that's it. Exquisite. I knew it started with an E.
That's the perfect word for the cafe. The pastries, the atmosphere, it's totally exquisite.
Exactly. I really wanted to use that word to sound all fancy and impress everyone listening, but nope. Brain freeze.
Well, you got it eventually. And actually, that's a great lead-in to today's topic. How to make sure words like exquisite don't just slip out of your memory.
Perfect. Let's break it down. Oh, and before we dive into all the fun strategies for remembering new words, we've got something special for you.
Yes, we've created a free PDF guide that goes with this episode. It's packed with all the key points we'll discuss today, plus comprehension and grammar exercises to help you practice and lock in what you've learned.
And trust me, you don't want to miss this one. It's like having a mini workbook to boost your vocabulary skills. You can download it from the link in the description.
Exactly. Use it to follow along and practice the strategies we're about to share.
All right, let's get started. First, let's talk about why it's so easy to forget new words and how we can stop that from happening.
Well, it's all about how memory works. Think of your brain like a leaky bucket. Every time you learn something new, it gets added to the bucket. But unless you reinforce it, the information starts leaking out pretty quickly.
Ah, so that's why words seem to disappear just a few days after learning them.
Exactly. This is called the forgetting curve. It shows that we forget almost 80% of new information within 24 hours if we don't review it. That's why just reading a word once isn't enough to make it stick.
Wow, 80%. So how do we stop the leaking bucket?
By using specific strategies to patch the bucket. Let's break them down one by one.
Ooh, sounds like we're about to unlock some memory superpowers.
The first and most powerful strategy is to make words personal. Our brains are great at remembering things that matter to us, but not so great at holding on to random facts. The trick is to connect each new word to your life in a meaningful way.
Totally. I'll never forget the word exquisite because it's linked to that cafe I went to. Every time I think of that place, the word pops right back into my mind.
Exactly. I had the same experience with the word nostalgia. When I learned it, I immediately thought of summers at my grandma's house, riding bikes, eating ice cream, and watching the sunset from the porch. Now, every time I hear nostalgia, that memory plays like a movie in my head.
That's so smart. So instead of memorizing words mechanically, we should try to create emotional connections or memories around them?
Exactly. It turns the word into something personal, which makes it stick much better. Next time you learn a new word, ask yourself, how does this word relate to my life? What personal story or experience could I attach to it?
Right? It's like giving each word its own little memory hook.
Exactly. And if you want to take it even further, the second strategy is to create visual associations. Our brains love pictures. If you can turn a word into a mental image, it's way easier to remember.
So, like making a mini cartoon in your head?
Exactly. Here's an example. When I learned the word serendipity, which means a happy accident, I imagined myself walking through a park and randomly finding a $20 bill on the ground. That image stuck, and now I'll never forget the meaning of serendipity.
That's really smart. For the word lavish, which means rich or luxurious, I could picture a massive banquet table overflowing with golden plates, exotic fruits, and candles everywhere.
Yes, the sillier and more vivid, the better. Another example, when I learned meticulous, which means being very careful and precise, I pictured a jeweler carefully setting tiny diamonds in a ring. It's such a detailed task, and that image helped me lock in the word.
Okay, so the key is to create a strong mental picture that's funny, surprising, or super detailed. Got it.
And the next strategy is the simplest, but also the most important. Practice, practice, practice. It's like planting a seed. If you don't water it right away, it won't grow.
That's so true. I've noticed that when I use a word in a conversation right after learning it, I remember it much better. But if I just read it once and move on, it's gone the next day.
Exactly. When I learned peculiar, which means strange or unusual, I made it a point to use it at least 3 times that week. I told my friend, "That's a peculiar outfit you're wearing." Then I used it in a sentence while journaling and mentioned it in a group chat. After that, it became part of my vocabulary for good.
So, the idea is to practice in real situations as soon as possible, right?
Yes. And even if you can't find someone to talk to, you can practice by writing sentences in a journal or saying the word out loud to yourself. The key is to use it multiple times and in different ways. The more you practice, the stronger the memory becomes.
It's like building a muscle. The more you exercise it, the stronger it gets.
Exactly. And with these 3 strategies, making words personal, creating visual associations, and practicing, you'll have a solid foundation for locking in any new word you learn.
So, the next strategy sounds like a science experiment: active recall and spaced repetition. What's the deal with that? Brain training?
Sort of. Think of your brain like a muscle. The more you work it out, the stronger it gets. Active recall is like doing memory push-ups. Instead of passively reviewing the word over and over, you close your book and force your brain to recall it from memory.
Oh, so it's not about cramming? It's about testing yourself regularly?
Exactly. Studies show that testing yourself is one of the best ways to remember something long-term. Even if you struggle to recall it at first, that struggle is what strengthens the memory.
So it's like learning the word meticulous. Instead of just reading it 10 times, I should close the book and ask myself, what does meticulous mean again? If I get it right, boom, stronger memory.
Yes, and that's just one part. The other part is spaced repetition, which is all about timing. You don't want to review the word every 5 minutes. You want to space out your reviews, like once today, then again in 2 days, and then a week later.
Oh, so it's like watering a plant. You can't drown it every day. You need to water it just enough and give it time to grow.
Perfect metaphor. Spaced repetition catches your brain right before it's about to forget the word, locking it into your long-term memory. Apps like Anki or Quizlet make this super easy to do.
Those apps are lifesavers. It's like having a personal trainer for your memory.
Exactly. Next strategy. Learn words in context. This is a big one. Memorizing words in isolation is like trying to remember puzzle pieces without seeing the full picture.
Right. It's like trying to remember random ingredients without knowing what recipe you're making.
Exactly. When you learn words in context, you see how they behave in a sentence, and that makes them stick better. Take the word frigid, for example. If you just memorize the definition, extremely cold, you might forget it. But if you see it in a sentence like, "The wind was so frigid it felt like my face turned into an icicle," it paints a vivid picture in your mind.
I've been there. That frigid wind is no joke. What about peculiar? It's much easier to remember if you use it in a sentence like, he has a peculiar habit of eating cereal with a fork.
Ha ha ha. That's a great example. Context makes words like nostalgic and sophisticated easier to recall because you can connect them to real-life situations, like feeling nostalgic while looking at old photos or describing a friend's fashion style as sophisticated.
So the key is to use words in full sentences or stories. That way, they're not just floating around in my brain like loose coins.
Exactly. And if you read books or watch TV shows in English, you'll start picking up words naturally in context without even realizing it.
Oh, that's a great tip.
Totally. And now for my favorite strategy, teaching. If you want to remember a word forever, teach it to someone else.
Oh, I've heard that before. Why does it work?
Because teaching forces you to explain the word in your own way, which strengthens the memory. Plus, you repeat it multiple times while explaining it, which reinforces it even more.
Ah, so it's like building a roadmap for the word in your brain. If you're teaching it, you have to take the scenic route, which helps you really understand it.
Exactly. Here's an example. When I explained the word flustered to my little cousin, I said, "It's that feeling you get when you're running late and can't find your keys or phone." Now, every time I hear flustered, I think of that chaotic morning scene and remember the word perfectly.
That's a good one. I explained charming to my niece by saying, it's like describing someone who's naturally pleasant and makes you smile. Like the barista who always gives me an extra cookie.
Ha ha ha. Yes, teaching makes you a better learner and helps someone else too. So, the next time you learn a word, find a friend, sibling, or even your dog and explain it to them.
My dog's about to get the vocabulary lesson of his life.
Poor dog, he's about to become bilingual.
All right, so, to sum up, make words personal, create visual associations, practice often, learn them in context, and teach them to someone else. If you use these strategies, your vocabulary is going to grow faster than my weekend to-do list.
Ha ha ha. Exactly. And remember, it's not about learning hundreds of words in one day. It's about making each word stick like glue. Speaking of words, we've used some really interesting ones in today's episode.
Right. Some of them were pretty fancy, though.
Yep, words like exquisite and meticulous definitely sound impressive, but only if you actually remember how to use them.
Exactly. And to make sure you do, we've got Charlotte here to break them down one by one. She'll give you the meanings and examples so you can confidently use them in your own conversations.
Take it away, Charlotte.
Thanks, Aaron and Evan. Hi, everyone. Let's break down some words from today's episode that you can start using in your daily conversations. Here we go. Exquisite. Meaning, beautiful, elegant, or finely detailed. Example. The restaurant had an exquisite menu filled with gourmet dishes. This word is perfect when you want to describe something truly special, like a beautifully crafted cake or an elegant piece of jewelry. Frigid. Meaning, extremely cold. Example. The weather was so frigid that we had to stay indoors all day. You'll often hear this word when describing harsh weather. It's more intense than just saying cold. Serendipity. Meaning, a happy accident or pleasant surprise. Example. It was pure serendipity that I ran into an old friend at the airport. This is one of my favorite words. It makes any coincidence sound magical. Meticulous. Meaning, extremely careful and precise. Example. She's meticulous about organizing her workspace. If you know someone who pays close attention to every little detail, this is the perfect word to describe them. Peculiar. Meaning, strange or unusual. Example. He has a peculiar habit of eating pizza with a fork. Peculiar can sound a little playful or mysterious. It depends on how you use it. Lavish. Meaning, rich, luxurious, or extravagant. Example. The party was a lavish affair with golden decorations and gourmet food. If something is over the top fancy, lavish is your word. Nostalgic. Meaning, sentimental longing for the past. Example, looking at my old school photos always makes me nostalgic. It's the perfect word when you feel a little emotional remembering good times from the past. Sophisticated. Meaning, elegant, refined, or well-educated. Example, her outfit was so sophisticated, it looked like something out of a fashion magazine. Use this word when you want to describe someone or something with class and style. Flustered. Meaning, nervous or confused. Example, I always get flustered when I can't find my phone while running late. It's that chaotic feeling when nothing seems to go right, like losing your keys at the worst possible time. Charming. Meaning, pleasant and attractive. Example, the little bookstore was so charming, I didn't want to leave. This is a sweet word to describe someone or something that makes you smile, like a cozy cafe or a friendly neighbor. And there you have it. 10 fantastic words that you can start using today. Try them out in your conversations and see how many you can remember.
Thanks, Charlotte. Those were spot on.
All right, that's it for today's episode. We hope you keep learning, stay curious, and we'll see you in the next episode of the English Leap podcast.
And subscribe to my channel.